Very good afternoon to all. On behalf of AICT and IIC, the Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, Ahmedabad, is presenting today a very informative session on innovation, frugal engineering, and social enterprise. I'm Dr. Raman Gujral, Senior Faculty at Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, and along with me, Dr. Saji Varghese, who is a social entrepreneur, innovator, and who has created a patented technology in the field of converting coconut leaf into a drinking straw, which is biodegradable and healthy, and it is globally accepted as a innovation in the field of local resources for the poor community. So really, I am very happy to share this session. We are going to talk about innovation. We are going to talk about social enterprise, and I'll also invite in between Dr. Saji Varghese to share his experience, how the frugal engineering and basic technology can convert and can create a big business ideas. So to begin with, I would like to share with my students that what is the social engineering, social enterprise, and what is a frugal engineering. I can say that it starts with innovation, because when we say that somebody is creative, it can be your inherent skill. But once you convert your creativity and you work on that, then the innovation comes. So I can say that creativity is your thought process, but innovation is your action process. And that is what Dr. Saji Varghese, who is a social entrepreneur, innovator, first he might be a creative person, then innovation has come into the grassroots or in front of each and every person. So you cannot see the creativity, but you can see the innovation. So basically, creativity is thinking up new things. So all these kind of creators, those before innovation, they keep on thinking about the new things, new ways, new processes, and then they convert, they act on that, and then they convert that into innovation. So innovation is basically output of creativity. And innovation involves various things like thinking differently. We talk about thinking out of the box, thinking creatively, insightfully, or even innovation enables solutions, because a lot of problems can be solved with the help of these kind of innovations that have an impact on social and economic value. And that is what our today's social entrepreneur who is with us, he has created impact on social due to converting that biodegradable product into a straw, which is replacing the plastic straw, drinking straw, and in turn it is giving economic value to the poor people, those who are inside the region or community. These innovations also fulfills unmet needs. Sometimes these kind of needs are there which people cannot explore to find the solution. So innovation gives the solution to unmet needs, and even by the conventional products, processes, or institutional forms which things cannot be done, then these kind of innovations come to the masses, and it is the solution for your providing the needs to fulfill. Even innovations are moving beyond research and development. it doesn't need to bring any innovation to work on it for 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. Any innovation can be created within a time period of 1 hour, or maybe 1 day, or 10 days, or 15 days, or 50 days, and then you keep on adding value to your innovation. That is what Dr. Saji also did. He innovated, and then he keep on re-innovating on his product line. So it's a kind of a new application of old technology. So you can assemble various technologies together to create a new product, new process, new structure, and organizational creativity, or whatever. It can go beyond that. So always the innovations are not related to only product. It can be services also. It can be even innovations in the organization, behavior, working, and all that. So I'm not talking too much on that, but I'll say that at least for innovation, you should have some idea. From idea, you can innovate. So for idea or for innovation, you need to spot the need. Basically, I'm talking about the problem. If there is no problem, there is no innovation. But if there is a problem, definitely innovation will come. Then you have to spot the solution also. What is the applicable solution to that particular need? Then you have to do a little market research whether this kind of innovation is going to be workable or not, and what kind of trend is following. So in case of Dr. Saji Varghese example, again I am giving because he is going to talk about that, so you will relate that with you. That trend following means that the government of India and the globally, the trend was, or trend is coming, that single use of drinking straw which are being made of plastic has to be banned. Now this is the trend. So this is a kind of a problem or trend. Now this trend he identified, and then he converted this particular product and as a solution to the market. So this is a very important thing, that you should follow the trend also. And that is why when you convert idea into innovation, you should think about three things: that what is desirable to the users, whether it is easy to use, it is healthy to use, or any other things related to users. What is viable in the marketplace? How the viability, whether the raw material is easy available or the technology is easy available in the marketplace, it is viable. Then all these three things together can convert into a very successful innovation. And all these three aspects you can hear or listen from when Dr. Varghese will talk about that. So innovations can be in many places, as I discussed: product, service, and process. So what is a product innovation? You can change existing product by making it differently, using ways, and so that you can have a different kind of uses in the product. Then in the service also, you can do a lot of innovation, like a burger seller company is giving option driveway. Now you can come, you can pick your order, not parking, or you are on the go, and you can do. So this is the kind of innovation which a simple counter has been created, where you can pay and you can get your product. And so this is how the service innovation has been done. And that is what Steve Jobs talks about, that innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Those who are the innovators, they are the leader, and none other than Steve Jobs, who created this brand of Apple, is known for innovativeness in the product. And every year we keep on waiting still what kind of new innovation is coming in the existing product. So that is all about innovation, but there are a lot of risks also associated with the innovation. That innovation involves creating something that doesn't exist, because it's a new thing. So you don't know whether people are going to accept it or not. So there are long odds for success. You may fail many times, but that is your persistency, that how you keep on hitting back. Market risk is also there because you don't know that what kind of pricing or market is going to accept or customer are going to accept. And technology risk also, if you have some technology and you feel that this technology is good for you, but maybe in other countries or in other locations this technology cannot work. So this are some risks associated with innovation. But I'm very much sure when our innovator Dr. Varghese will talk about, he will talk about that how he started thinking and what kind of odds he faced in his journey and how he overcome to that odds. A lot of companies also keep on doing innovations in their product, their services, their this. So there are a lot of research keep on going on that which company is more innovative. So I'm not naming all them, but there are few companies which are known for their innovations in product or in their services, and that is why these are the companies, those who are the leader, global leader, I can say. So if you want to be successful leader in a marketplace, you have to keep on innovative, and keep on re-innovation within yourself. But in India and in other parts of the country where the poverty or there are the resources are very less, nobody can spend a lot of amount in research and development. So that is why the existing entrepreneurs or those who are working, they rarely come with truly novel and innovative ideas. It is hardly 3 to 4%, and maximum they start their enterprises with 96% either with the enhancement of the existing product, that is improvement, refinement of features, cheaper, better, faster, more user friendly. So I can give example, like in a mobile phone, every month or 2 months you get something new. That is basically enhancement of either features, or they increase the speed, they increase the RAM, they increase the GB. That is all is the enhancement. The basic product is same, but sometimes they add features to the product. So it's a mobile phone with a camera. In a car, they can have a lot of features. In infotainment zone is better, or the seats are cooling facility or warming facility. There are so many things. So sometimes they add one product with other products. So there are 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s, mixer, blender, or juicers. All these things are the features of extension. And sometimes the existing entrepreneur only add product for the existing market. So it can be for kids, it can be for women, it can be for men, it can be for elderly person, it can be for poor, it can be only for the rich. So these kind of niche can be created by changing the existing product. So 96% people stay away from these kind of innovations. Only 3 to 4% of industries go for truly new, novel and innovations. And that is why the enhancements gives more penetration to the market, because it is changing color, feature, something like that. Extensions add value to joining two products together, and specialization is exclusively the changing the product for different market growth. But when we talk about frugal engineering innovation, in that case, the frugal innovation means making clever products from limited resources and seeing poorer population as a market to serve, not as object of charity. They sell it, but where the population cannot buy, then what kind of product? So in case of our social enterprise, which today we are going to share with the innovator, Dr. Varghese, he has created a very low cost machinery to convert his innovative process into a product. So this is the example of frugal engineering. And sometimes due to scarcity, people demand or for more value, these frugal engineering or innovations works a lot. Some companies deliver to that need by focusing on product reorientation and local solutions, and many companies make products for high-end and for poor also. So these are the innovations which can be of the same quality, good quality, but it is for the poor, which is having minimum basic facilities, and for the rich or for the big buyers, it can have value added product line. If I try to explain you frugal or jugaad, jugaad is a word which is not addressed very properly, but nowadays it is coming into a different kind of innovation, and even in Brazil it is known as zitno, and in China also it is known. And recently 15 Indian words that made it into the Oxford Dictionary. Jugaad is also one of the word which has been accepted, and including Didi, Masala, Chamcha, Badshah, Dadagiri, etc. Now this word is also in Oxford Dictionary. So how from jugaad you can go to frugal engineering? It is basically improvisational innovation driven by scarce resources and customer needs. So you have to think about what are the resources available, scarcity, and what are the customers' needs, and then you convert that need into a product line. And informal improvisation needs to be scaled up to a system based on frugal engineering geared towards Indian standards. So you can create a one prototype, but that can be converted into a multiple machines or multiple technologies for various group of people who can use it. Would be disruptive innovation in sectors such as health. You can go into education, innovation, housing, whatever area you choose, you can have innovations. So it is basically low cost design, product development efficiency, capital efficiency, the manufacturing simplicity. These all comes under frugal engineering. And optimizing customer interface feature, it is easy to understand, and eliminating non-value adding features which are not required. Why you are paying for that? So that is why frugal engineering address to the purchasing power of the people, resource management, and innovative engineering or redesign what is there. So this is a very common feature that some place in Gujarat, this is known as even jugaad, but from here this word came, and now whatever innovation you do by using the old technology and helping to get the resource for other people who cannot get the proper transportation facility, this is one. So basically the technology is most innovative, economical, quality method to be accomplished the desired task by unusual and unimaginable means and ways. We call this is a jugaad technology, or this is a frugal technology. It's not a child's play that anybody can enter into this kind of innovation. It needs a lot of imagination, high level of creativity, skilled mindset, thinking out of the box. But whenever you see, you can always say, oh my God, it is so easy, and even I would have done this thing. But this is not, once you see, you can understand this is very easy. When Dr. Saji Varghese will talk about his innovation, you can say that, oh my God, it is very easy. But you don't know that how creatively this innovator has done this, which nobody else has thought about. So all these kind of jugaad innovations or frugal innovation, once you see, you can say that, oh my God, I can also do this. But no, who has done this for the first time, he is the innovator or she is the innovator, and rest, you can say that people can copy you, or they can do anything with your thought process. Even in, this is about the Thailand, sorry. And in recent past, there was a heavy flood slash in Thailand, and in the streets of Bangkok, it was 3 feet waterlogging for a month and more than that, and people could not commute from one place to other. Now, what this non-technical auto rickshaw transporter did, he increased the size of the shock ups from front, and then he increased the height of the engine so that water cannot enter. Now these all are the basic innovations which a non-technical person can think. But being a technocrat, you people, all students and all everybody who is with AICT and IIC, if you can create such kind of a mechanism, so whenever it is required, then you can push a button, and this can be, this arrangement can be done in the time of any such kind of requirement. So it is not only water or any other hindrance, you can use this. So these kind of technologies looks very simple, but you can use this in your industry when you are joining those industry. This is also how to reduce the drudgery, so that your head should not be holding each and everything, or cleaning, swiping the roads by multiple shaft driven brooms. There is no power, in that case you can use gas operated ironing, cloth ironing machine. Now this, by seeing it, looks very simple, but the person who has done this has some creativity and did a lot of innovation into that. Simple bamboo slicing machine which is hand operated, but these kind of knives or sharp edges have been added so that the person can slice the bamboo into each and every, for making ice cream sticks or incense cone sticks. You cannot afford to buy a very big coffee making machine, but simply the steam is the process or technology, and how to transfer steam into blending the coffee, making espresso coffee every day. This person is doing it, and this is his innovation, and it's a basic science. This is also very known to you. Jugaad or frugal engineering only needs imagination. When there is a scarcity of power, these kind of technology can be used for mass charging of mobile sets. You can see about solar energy, converting mechanical energy into you can say laundry, so that for your water, for your cloth washing machine, it can be without power. All these high level of creativities are required, and you have to think out of the box when you're talking about innovation. And innovation or creativity is each and every person's head. How you use it, that is more important. Converting this drill into a juicer, you don't have high-end gadgets, you can use this, enjoy your, you have scarcity, you can use this way also. So these all are the kind of innovations which I wanted to share with you. Definitely I would request Dr. Saji Varghese, who is with me today, and he will talk about his innovations and how his innovations have been converted into a product, and now from product to a good market he has given to our Earth universe. So please welcome Dr. Saji Varghese.
Thank you, Dr. Raman. That was a very interesting and a very insightful session that you took. And in fact, I was very impressed with all the fascinating examples that you gave. And what I would like to take off from here is where Dr. Raman actually finished, giving a broad overview of innovations. He spoke about identifying a problem and then coming up with a solution which is not just desirable, but it has to be viable, and it has to be scalable. And Dr. Raman threw a lot of light on the need for frugal innovation, particularly in a country like India. And the kind of examples he gave very clearly illustrates that you don't have to be at MIT or Harvard. You just can be, one creative person in the village, very little known, but he can come up with a fascinating innovation, not only in India, but across the globe. He gave very interesting examples, and I was really very amazed by the kind of work that even people in India are doing. And I think so, US technocrats, the budding engineers, I think the responsibility on you is much, much higher, that you should really try to use all your creative skill and try to identify problems and then try to come up with viable solutions so that our economy gets a real good boost, so that not only that you are job seekers, but you can give job opportunities for hundreds and thousands of men and women in India, both in the urban poor and in the rural, in the villages of India. Now, what I will do is I'll really very quickly run you through this one innovation that happened, which has now resulted in a social enterprise. We have founded a company called Blessing Farms Private Limited. So our focus is on agri wastes, and we try to convert them into useful products. And then our goal is to engage women, particularly women from rural communities, in the production of these products. And we know that these are the solutions which the world needs to solve some of its wicked problems, particularly related to environment. And we as a company, we believe that India can give great solutions. So one of the inventions is the straw, which we made. This is a straw that this is an 8 mm straw that I made from fallen coconut leaves. And of course, I have only water now, and we can sip it. It works perfectly all right. And if you see that it has its own shine, which is its own natural wax. And this was the best find in this innovation, which has enhanced its property as a straw. So I'll just run you through a slide which will show you how we start from an idea, then we explore whether it is a scalable idea, and then we convert a product. And as Raman sir explained, how that product has to be enhanced repeatedly. So it's not just that you develop a product and then it stagnates. You have to constantly keep iterating on it so that you come up with a better product. And then as you keep on iterating, you understand that there are a lot of offshoots, many other collateral innovations that happen as a result. And that is the whole excitement of the journey of innovation. And and then finally it comes not just as an idea and then as a product, but it becomes a commercial venture. And that should be the ultimate dream. It's not that you should end it begins and ends in the research lab, but it should actually go out, become a viable commercial product, so that more and more people are engaged. So I'll run you through the slide, which actually shows the journey from the beginning till the end. And then I'll show you maybe some pictures of some of the other machines that we developed to manufacture this straw. And then maybe we can have further discussions. So I'll share the screen, the PPT of our company. So as you can see, we are Blessing Farms. Is it visible, the screen?
No.
Okay, so just a minute. Is it visible now?
Share screen from down.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
And your PPT should be open before that.
Just.
So as rightly said, Dr. Sajid Kumar, that he started with one innovation. He kept himself on that innovation. And I think over 18 months now, he is every day changing and doing better and better into his innovation. So once he'll run through his PPT, he's already working on that. So it will automatically come.
Is it coming?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the company Blessing Farms Private Limited, which we have founded in May 2019 after the innovation of the straw happened. And just to give you an example, even this logo is created by one of our students. So right from the beginning, one innovation can lead to some more creativity. So one of our students who was interested in brand building, in fact, he has now started his own startup called Mintral. So this is a logo which our student from MSc Physics has created. So you can just cross boundaries when you are coming with an innovation. And as we say, our mission is grassroots innovation for income generation for rural communities and solutions to global challenges. So as Sir was also telling that, it's not just that we do charity for the rural communities. The rural communities should feel that they are empowered enough that they can provide solutions to global problems. And that is the kind of empowerment rural India requires. They should not be the object of our charity. So that is one key point which I always stress even when I discuss with our students. And how do I change the slide? Yeah. So what we developed is biodegradable drinking straws from naturally fallen coconut leaves. So as Sir was telling, not only that it should be a desirable product, but it should be a viable product and it should be a scalable product. So what we were very conscious about is that whether considering the fact that straws are required in billions. So if I were to make the straw from some very scarcely available product, it would not be scalable. And thankfully, the straw which I invented, it is made from naturally fallen coconut leaves. If you know that one fallen coconut leaf, it is a compound leaf, and there are around 360 leaflets. And from one compound leaf of coconut, we can make up to 200 straws. So, and these fallen coconut leaves across villages, they are burnt. At the most, the broomsticks are taken, and then they are mostly burnt in either landfills or in open kitchens, and it leads to a lot of carbon emissions, CO2 emissions. And now, because we converted it into a biodegradable straw, and up to 200 straws can be made, it has become a product of, we are creating a value out of an agri waste, and that was important. And what are the features of this straw? As we were a lot of doing that experiment, and I remember it was 3rd of October 2017, and it was in the morning. I was walking in the campus of Christ University, and it was like an epiphany moment, like a God-given insight. The thought of biodegradable straw came to my mind, and my eyes fell on a fallen coconut leaf, and it was dry and it was curled, and one of the leaflets was pointing upwards like a straw. And it was like an epiphany moment that yeah, this is it. And I ran to my staff room, my cabin, and I took a pair of scissors and I cut a lot of dried leaves. Then I was staying in an apartment close to Christ University, and I went home. I went to my apartment and I did lots of experiments, and of course it took a week's time. And I found out I was burning it, I was ironing it, I was steaming it, I was soaking it in water, and finally I found out that one morning I was steaming it like you steam idlis under pressure. And in about 30-35 seconds, it started glowing, it started shining. And then I did some research, and I found out that these palm leaves, the more dried they are, they have more wax in it, natural wax in it. It's called the carnauba wax, and it is very healthy. In fact, if you know that all the Cadbury chocolates and all which has a shine on it, actually it is this wax. It is the carnauba wax from the Brazilian palms. So that was again like a lottery, because the wax was not harmful, unlike the wax which is used in paper straws. It is either beeswax or it is petroleum wax, which is harmful. So we make this straw. First feature of the straw is that it is made in a chemical-free process, and it has its own natural wax, which makes it gives it two qualities. One, that it makes it hydrophobic. Hydrophobic in the sense that water doesn't enter into it, so it can remain steady in beverages for more than 4 hours. Second thing is that it becomes shiny. So the aesthetic value of this straw is enhanced because it is shining. But the most important thing is that it has its own antifungal properties. This wax has its antifungal property. So without adding any chemicals, it becomes naturally antifungal. And then as I experimented again for almost a year, then I came with the idea of multi-layered straw for the key purpose of having an antifungal wall, both in the inner wall of the straw and on the outer wall of the straw. So now we have a multi-layered straw which is antifungal both on the outside and inside, to the extent that its shelf life has now risen up to 9 months. In fact, it starts, the older it becomes, the more shinier it becomes. That's the beauty of this particular product. and then it stays in beverages for more than we say that it stays in beverages for more than 3 hours, but actually it stays in beverages for more than 6 hours, and it has a shelf life of 9 months, and you can make 200 straws from one naturally dried compound leaf. So there is no shortage of raw material. Okay, so these are the features of the straw, and so from this product, of course, I'll come into the aspects of primarily about the engineering aspects a little later. I'll just quickly run through how this idea became a commercial enterprise. And then there were some students who worked with us, and we surveyed 15 villages of Karnataka, and we identified 5 lakh coconut trees. And we found out that except at one place where the dried leaves were mulched, they were powdered and then put back into the soil. All other places, they were just burning it. And we found out that in 15 villages, 5 lakh coconut trees, all the leaves are burned. So we started connecting with the villages of Karnataka and even in Tamil Nadu. And we started interacting with these communities. Our students went and did a survey, and they all agreed to either give these leaves to us, or many of them have even shown willingness to start up production centers at their own places in the vicinity. So this is our business model. It's a scattered business model where our team, the Blessing Farms Private Limited, which has developed 5 machines now for the different processes, which I'll explain subsequently. And all these machines are again developed in-house by our students. Some of them are from commerce, some of them are from engineering, some of them are from commerce, some of them are from basic sciences. We all have come together and made these machines. And I think that should be an eye-opener to you as technocrats, that of course we developed a product which is a straw, but then when you further fine-tune the product, you will find that there's a need to bring in a lot of technology component into it. And that is where you as technocrats can pitch in, even for a grassroots innovation like a straw. So we have developed 5 machines in-house. They are all patented. We have filed international patent. And in fact, the patent got published recently on 1st of May, including all the machines. And we give this to the rural communities, either self-help groups or individuals who wants to set it up in their own farms. And we provide the training and the technology to these people. And these straws are made, and of course, it is not a high skilled work. People can learn the ways of making it very in almost 2 days, and it's all about getting used to it so that the output increases. And then we buy the straws from them, and thankfully this this product has already attained a lot of global attention, and we have orders for almost 10 million straws even for this year from across 11 countries. So we buy back the straws from them, and we want to build a model social enterprise with a very transparent business model where it's a profit sharing model, so that the rural communities are also benefited by the sale of these straws globally. So this is how the model works. So we are now started with 3 pilot projects, and under EDII we are planning to start at several other places as well. And gradually we'll try to add more centers and increase the production of the straws. Now to talk about the journey of this process. Any leaf, if you see it is very brittle, and you feel how can you make a flexible straw? If you see this straw, it is very sturdy. It is not brittle, and in fact, it can hold on. It is actually multiple use, but we are positioning it as a single use, particularly after this COVID pandemic. We don't want to make it a multi-use straw. It is a single-use disposable straw, and the process that involves is first we have a cleaning of it. The leaves are cleaned in a 3-stage process. After that, we have a process called wax bursting, which is primarily a high pressure steam bursting for 30 seconds. Then we have a machine developed for the scraping of it. Now, what is important is that, if you make a straw, how can it become a commercial venture? It cannot be a commercial venture if there are 8 to 10 women working for 8 hours and you make only 100 straws in the entire day. So it never becomes a viable business. And that is where our entire focus was on technology, which we can pass on to the women to make it so that we can scale up the production. So I'll show the picture of the, sorry.
So Dr. Saji, can you
Yeah.
share the
Yeah,
video
yeah, yeah.
of the process, how it is being done?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute, sir.
So yeah.
Can you see the machine?
No, you share the screen. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the scraping machine which we have developed now. Now in this scraping machine, see every leaf has to be scraped and it has to be made thin. Finally, I'll show that short video where we'll show the functioning of this machine. So this machine can scrape the leaves. Earlier, when we were doing in a very manual method, to scrape one leaf, it took 23 seconds, 26 seconds. But now we have this machine where we can scrape leaves in 2 seconds. So that is how the whole process has now speeded up significantly, to the extent now that earlier we were making 150 straws in a day. Now we can make up to 8,000 straws in a day. So that is where the technology plays a very big role, and technocrats play a very big role. In fact, this machine is made by a design engineer, Jobin Jose, and some students from our college who developed this machine. And this is a spiral rolling machine. After the leaf is scraped and we do a bit cutting on the machine, every leaf has to be spirally rolled. So this is a spirally rolled machine that we have made.
No, no, we cannot see this. You have to
Okay, sure.
minimize this and you have to reopen it.
Okay, sir.
So if you can play the video.
Yeah, I'll play the video. I'll play the video directly. Yeah. But first I have to share it, right?
So that way, I think they all are the technocrats. They will understand how the basic technology works in a way. You have taken support of all technical students and even some of the non-technical students also. And
just a minute, sir.
They have provided a lot of support in developing such technology. So once you play the video, I think
sure.
Then you can share your screen. In that case,
sure.
It is easy to each and every person to understand the whole technology. And it's really a very good example of how the basic technology can be converted into high value resource mobilization and utilization of manpower at the grassroots, which is a very important innovation. So all these innovations should not always be for the big companies, but should be for
Can you see the screen, sir?
No, you just play and then share the screen.
Okay.
First you play and then share the screen.
As most plastic products
now share the screen from down.
The natural straw, a substitute to plastic straws introduced by the Indian startup Blessing Farms Private Limited, becomes significant.
Yes.
It was their goal of converting agri-waste into useful eco-friendly products that resulted in the production of straws out of coconut leaves.
Our focus is on agri-waste, and we try to find out whether we can convert them into useful eco-friendly products. So the first of it was the straws we made from fallen coconut leaves. And during one of my experiments 2 years back, if you do a proper steaming process, its own wax comes on its surface, and that makes it antifungal. So that gave me an idea that it can be converted into a straw.
The straws are made after processing the coconut leaves through steaming to make it antifungal. According to Sajeev Varghese, CEO of Blessing Farms, these natural straws can be put in all sorts of liquid for more than 6 hours. In rural areas, the company provides straw-making training to women with the vision to provide them with employment.
One thing is, it is very much social-based. So we want that more and more rural women should be able to generate income out of this particular So we don't want to automate to the extent that it is taken away from them. We are just enabling technology to enable the women to make the straws. So now we are starting centers in 22 different places. So that will see an employment of almost 450 women who will be engaged in the rolling of the straws.
As part of improving production operations, the company is upgrading their technology so that women can meet the demand. In the last year, Blessing Farms has received orders for 10 million straws, says Saji Vargas. He adds that the company has plans to extend its activities to 22 other locations in South India.
Yeah, so I think you got, it shows the functioning of two of the machines. We have developed 5 machines. How do I do that?
Yeah, go to Zoom, blue one. Yeah, your PPT.
Yeah, just a minute.
Yeah,
Can you share? I mean,
yeah, we can see. We can see.
yeah. So,
So you can quickly
yeah.
sum
It
up
went
now.
up. Yeah, sure. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So very quickly, I'll just tell you these are the various processes. And now, let's say now this is the second product that we are making from the mesh of coconut leaves, which is the scrubber, the dishwashing scrubber we are making from the mesh, and again from the side pieces of the leaf strips, we are making dining table mats, we are making pouches, and all of these are value-added products. And as Sir was talking about it, I'll just go to the place where it is very important that you protect your intellectual property. And I think after we do our innovations, it happens that we are not very careful about it, and we publish it before filing a patent for it. Why it is important to protect our intellectual property? Because some other countries can easily replicate what you do, and they will file a patent, and you will be deprived from using it. But we need to use this technology so that our people get benefited from it. So I also emphasize that whenever you come up with a new product, don't hesitate to file the intellectual property for it, because it is also a good barometer for a country's economy. For example, US files the highest number of patents, and India, I think, is very, very lower in that table. China might be filing a lot of patents, and we as technocrats, I would encourage you to come up with new products, and then make it a point that you're filing patents also for it. Yeah, that's it from me, sir. Thank you very much.
Very good, Dr. Saji, and really this is the real example of social enterprise. You can stop sharing the screen now.
Yes.
So with this example, I think we can understand that how small thought while passing through the corridor, a fallen leaf converted into a product which is very much useful for developed economy and for existing businesses also. And that is the real way of understanding a social enterprise. And to quickly wrap up, I will say that there are so many social enterprises which are possible. I think you can see the screen, and these kind of social enterprises are basically innovations which we saw the straw product to create sustainable, scalable solution to our most pressing social challenges. And this is going to work at the intersection of business, whether it is non-profit or for-profit, with the help of government, entrepreneurs, innovators, technocrats, and it should be a mission-driven ventures to effect positive social change. That is called a social enterprises. Even a used textbooks for social change can be a social enterprises. These kind of water ATMs you can find now each and every nook and corner of the urban streets and the rural area. This is another example of social enterprise. This gentleman who is almost illiterate and less non-technocrat, Mansukh Bhai Prajapati, who developed this refrigerator, which we call as village refrigerator. It is mitti cooled. Mitti is soil and cool is, you know that. So you can keep your product cool and fresh for some time, 2 days, 3 days, and he is getting and he is producing now on mass scale. So new kinds of business ideas, low cost products, more than profit, all these things are social enterprises. And if you start upcycling, think about upcycling of your existing product so that they should not go to the landfill at the earliest. They should take more time. That is also part of upcycling. And that is why people are using plastic, using building material, junkyard, everything can be converted into a reusable product so that it should not go to the landfill. And that is why a Delhi-based startup, which is all different than Dr. Saji Varghese startup, is converting old shipping containers which are almost discarded into a eco-friendly school buildings. And this is the way they are refabricating the material. It's almost junk, and he's converting them into a classrooms, toilets, any other thing. Even you can see the reception area, you can convert them into library, and it has the ventilation, everything is up to the standards. And that is why another entrepreneur, they are cleaning the trash, plastic trash, and converting into a designer purses or sling bags. All these things is possible. You can weave even plastic so that it cannot go to the landfill, and all these kind of things can give lot of value addition to the product. And this is how they are weaving it, and then they are converting it into bags and all kind of utility. And people, boys and girls, are looking for such kind of products so that they should avoid landfill increase. So all these products, you can see very beautiful laptop bags, and all these things are the part of our social enterprise. So I can say, to wrap up, you have a lot of information on how Dr. Saji Varghese created a social enterprise using technology, process, and eco-friendly, environment-friendly product. You also start thinking about these kind of innovations which are not very expensive. They doesn't need a lot of R&D labs. Just think in a way how your education or your technology repository can convert into a good kind of product which can save our environment, our globe. This is very important. So to end, I'll say that even a social entrepreneur, they are not content just to give a fish or teach how to fish. They will not rest until they have revolutionized the fishing industry. And that is what Dr. Saji Varghese is also working. He is not contained himself only to Karnataka, but he is, along with EDII, he is working in the deep Kanyakumari area and Kerala and other parts of Tamil Nadu. So this is all about frugal engineering and social enterprise. I think you have a lot of insight in your mind, and I thank Dr. Saji Varghese for sharing his time, sharing his technology expertise with us. And thank you very much for your patient listening. You can write to me for any of your queries. We'll share some question answer sessions with you, and then we will ask some questions, and once you answer, definitely AICT and IIC will give you certificate also. Over to Saji Varghese for closing remarks, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think I was also illuminated by your session, and I'll also try to take a few takeaways from your talk and see how our enterprises can become more beneficial. And I think our students must have benefited immensely from the insights that you have given. And yeah, that's it. All the best, students, with your innovations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all.
Yeah.